Hello, and welcome to the Loose Butthole Reviews. I am your host, Smokey, and joining with me as always is my co-host, Spooge.
Hello.
And before we get into the review proper, as always, I have to give the 3 rules of our rating system. The first rule is it must be a fraction of 5. 1 means we hate it, 5 means we love it. Rule number 2, if we want our money back, we give it a good old Jeff Goldblum rating. And rule number 3, if we all agree that's doing the review that it deserves a 6 out of 5, a God tier, then it will get a God tier. And we're staying loosey goosey, and we're kind of getting to what I like to call Adult Swim hour of the Loose Butthole Review, and we're starting off with Inside from 2023.
Get me out of here!
It is directed by a Loosey Katsupis. Katsupis.
I'll you keep going. I'll take a crack at it when I pull it up.
Alright, and there is also a William Dafoe playing a Nemo. We have a Gene Borvoitz playing the owner, and we have an Eliza Stoic playing Jasmine.
Yeah, I can't read that. It's a fucking Greek name.
Yeah, it's Katsupis.
Because the problem with that is, like, since it's a Greek one, it's like Greek is one of those languages where they're like, oh, we're gonna Romanize it, but not in a way that is gonna be able to be phonetically said.
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure if that P is actually a P.
Yeah, it might be an F for all I know.
Yeah. Who the fuck knows?
But this is actually Vasilis. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, actually.
Vasilis.
Vasilis is this is his debut, directorial debut. Actually, this is his first movie.
The good first movie.
Oh yeah. Before we get into the plot summary, since there's only 2 real big plot production notes for this, and the first one is you might notice when you're watching this movie that there is a lot of art that is going around. These are actual art pieces. There was an art curator for this movie. His name was a Leonardo Bigazzi. Leonardo Bigazzi. 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 Yeah. But yeah, he was the art curator for this, and it took him 4 months to gather all the art pieces, which is very impressive because not only did he have to gather the art pieces up that from famous artists, which we will go over later in the review, but he had to get, like, basically permission from them to destroy their art pieces as well, because that's generally what is gonna happen. This film was also shot in chronological order, which the director likened to filming a documentary, which that means every scene you see it's shot like that the first scene we see was the first scene that was shot, and the last scene we see is the last scene that was shot. Nice. It took them 7 weeks of filming at Cologne's MMC TV and Film Studios. Principal photography wrapped June 1st in 2021. So yeah,
nice.
That is basically the only production. We will be going over some of the pieces of art that we see throughout the movie, but
yes.
Before we do that, we are actually going to go ahead and hop into the plot synopsis, plot summary here. If you don't mind, unless you have some random fact that you just happen to stumble on, or...
No, I'll probably have more to say when we get to like final thoughts and stuff.
Alright, okay. So, the movie opens up with our titular character named Nemo, who is an art thief. It opens with a narration that goes as such. When I was a kid, my teacher asked, "What are the 3 things that I would save from my house if it was on fire?" I answered, "My sketchbook, my AC/DC album, and my cat Groucho." I didn't mention my parents or my sister. Of course, most of the other kids did. Does that make me a bad person? My cat died. I lent my AC/DC album to a guy named Kojo, and I never saw it again. But I kept this sketchbook. The last part is cats die, music fades, but art is for keeps.
Oh yeah, it's a great quote. Which
Yes.
you know what? And I'll say I think he's the only one in that class who actually was paying attention to what was being asked. Because if anyone was grabbing things, you wouldn't grab your parents or your sister because they aren't things.
Yeah,
They're
no,
individuals.
they're not grabbing. Those are
Yeah,
people that should be running out of the house themselves.
I give him an A+ for reading
Yeah,
comprehension.
and I want to point out the number 3. Remember the number 3 that comes up quite a bit
Memba.
in this movie. There was 3 objects that he selected. As we continue on, the movie opens up with a number 2 and a number 3 talking, trying to tell number 1, Nemo, that he has the go-ahead. Number 2 is voiced by a Vincent Edon, and number 3 is voiced by Andrew Blumenthal. Yes,
Sounds like a medicine that makes you sleepy. Take some Blumenthal.
Yeah, number 2 doesn't have really a big of a role at all. I think he's supposed to be the helicopter pilot. But they have a little talk, and they're like on the radio, and they go, "Hey, go," and disguised as a handyman, Nemo breaks into a Manhattan high-rise penthouse of a wealthy art collector, ordered to steal 3 artworks by Egon Shelley, but is unable to find Shelley's self-portrait. His attempts to leave sets off the security system and seals the apartment. His contacts abandons him. Number 3 is the contact that abandons him. That number 3 again. He attempts to escape, prove futile. Broken thermostats renders the penthouse too hot and then too cold, and Nemo struggles with a lack of food and water, saved for time sprinklers in an indoor garden. Following Nemo's entry was a bird, a pigeon. It's netting, entry through the bird netting over the apartment's patio. A pigeon becomes trapped, and he has a little chat with this pigeon as well. The chat goes as such. He goes, Go to Tompkins Square Park. Look for the guy named Danny C. He's usually near the basketball courts. Usually there in the late afternoon. Tell him I'm stuck here. No one's come. Do that for me." And he goes, "Nobody here but us pigeons. Right? Right?" And he continues to repeat the word "right" for a few seconds. And as the weeks pass, Nemo goes hungry and suffers injuries as a result of his escape attempts, which focus on constructing an enormous scaffold from furniture to reach a skylight. He makes gradual progress in disassembling the frame around the skylight using tools he constructs from furniture. He develops an obsession with a young housekeeper dubbed Jasmine, whom he watches via a security camera feed that plays on the apartment television. In maddening frustration, she is right outside the front door on more than one occasion, but she does not hear him banging and yelling for her to open it because she is wearing headphones while running the vacuum. And also, that unfortunately, the pigeon also starves, and Nemo basically like watches it pass away.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, we see it fucking full of maggots.
yes, we do. And I could not for the life of me learn if they used a real pigeon or not. So that makes me that makes me extremely nervous that they actually used a pigeon. They might have, because they were filming. They were filming for 7 weeks. I totally see them putting a pigeon out there, trapping it, and just letting it die and filming it for 7 weeks. I can see.
Though I could also see them just having the pigeon, but then like finding a dead pigeon just easily out in the street, and then just like picking that up for the dead one shot.
True.
A lot of dead pigeons on the street.
But I don't know. I could not confirm. I did try my best to look for that information, because I know that you asked that, but I could not. Could not.
Like it was really a serious question.
But still, I was curious after you asked it, because sometimes you just gotta think. I'm trying to get to. I think I'm gonna need another quote ready here soon. No, my bad. Okay, so to continue. Oh yeah, I am. It's right here. I'm gonna need this quote right here. Okay, so Nemo discovers a hidden passageway in a closet that leads to a room containing the Shelley self-portrait and a collection of The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. This is also where he finds a really creepy sculpture mannequin type situation with the man, and it freaks him the fuck out.
Yeah. He looks like just like a corpse, like on a coffin.
Yes, and from this book, multiple times we hear Nemo say 2 phrases. I believe this first phrase is from the book. It might not be, but this is the point. At this point in the movie is when we start hearing him say these 2 phrases, and that is, "I'm going to heaven on the hillside." And from the book itself, I know this is from the book. It is, "But the following contraries to these are true. 1. Man has no body distinct from his soul. 2. Energy is the only life and is from the body. 3. Energy is eternal delight. 1 thought fills immensity. Energy is eternal delight."
Energy. You better turn that fucking light off. Energy. Remember the Energy song from a fucking what was that? Schoolhouse Rock?
I actually only watched that one time. It probably should go on the list, to be honest.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
Desperate, Nemo eats fish from the art collector's aquarium and the dog food that he found in
It was a great sequence because they couldn't have made it look less appetizing. which I would
Uh,
imagine an aquarium fish would not be.
yeah, that true, but also just like I totally understand at that point in time that a good chunk of time, a indescribable amount of time has passed. Like at this point in time that we have seen snow outside, we have seen fireworks. So a lot of time has passed now. So I can see like him just frustrated. So he's taking his frustration out as well.
Yeah, I think the only clue to like how much time has been would be like if we examined how much shit was there in that little shit pile he had.
Yeah, yeah, he
If
did.
you're like maybe like in his situation with low food, maybe shitting once a day at least. You
He
could think of like those maybe even being like day or day and a half.
eventually, he does start suffering from tooth decay and intermittent hallucinations. While removing bolts from the skylight, he falls to the ground and breaks his leg. He constructs a splint, but his health and sanity continues to deteriorate along with the apartment. Over time, he studies the apartment's art, creates his own artwork, and makes God dang it. I had this word. Intricate drawings on the walls. My bad.
Gotcha. Which, you saying tooth decay actually kind of, remember we were kind of wondering what he was doing when he was looking at his teeth and like putting a knife up to it. Before he gets like bashed by, by imaginary, I can't think of who that dude was.
It was the
obviously
owner.
like the art curator. Yeah, the owner.
It was the owner. It was Gene
Was the owner, but
Burvotes is the actor.
But do you think what he's gonna do is like try to use the knife to like scrape off the plaque? Like if like someone would like kind of like how they use like the metal tools to scrape.
Maybe
stuff off during
maybe
cleaning?
it was like he was just brushing his teeth. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
And after that moment, he just stopped brushing his teeth.
Yeah,
That might have been
maybe.
it.
I just remember he was like putting the knife up to his teeth, and we're like, "What the fuck is he doing?" But he got interrupted before he did it. So I wonder if he was gonna like actually use it to do like a deep teeth cleaning, like if you would with like this like metal tools.
Yeah, he totally could been. Totally could have been.
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting. I wonder if that's an actual survival thing.
But Nemo eventually sets off a smoke alarm in an attempt to get help, flooding the penthouse in the process by attracting no outside attention. Yes. He leaves the art collector a note written on the walls. And this is basically the end of the movie. And the note goes as following. When I was a kid, my teacher asked, "What are the 3 things that I would save from my house if it were on fire?" I answered, my sketchbook, my AC/DC album, and my cat Groucho. My cat died. I lent my AC/DC album to a guy named Kojo, and I never saw it again. But the sketchbook I kept. Cats die, music fades, but art is for keeps.
Which he does have that sketchbook. Oh, sorry. I forgot there's more to quote.
As a gesture of thanks for your hospitality, I saved 3 things of yours from destruction. I lived in your place only a short time. For you, it was a home. For me, it was a cage. I am sorry if I destroyed it, but maybe it was needed to be destroyed. After all, there is no creation without destruction. And that's when we finally see him scramble up the skylight after being trapped for so long. And yes, you are very correct. He is not lying. He has that sketchbook. The whole time he's sketching in the sketchbook.
Which is great to have a sketchbook if you're going to be stuck inside a mansion hell.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, that is the plot of Inside. And I gotta say, I fucking love this thing, man. I loved
Mhm.
this. I love this movie. I'm not getting into final thoughts. There is a little, and now that we have done the plot, there is a little snippet of a uh, interview with William Defoe that I want to play that I found interesting.
And stuff that I would take, listen, burn it down, start all over. I don't want to live in the past.
Ooh.
Yes, this is going to be a tiny little new segment for the channel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay, speaking of the movie, you know, a lot of your roles go to some really intense places. A few favorites of mine, Lighthouse, Antichrist, etc. Inside similarly gets pretty dark. So do you find like catharsis in these roles? Like what draws you to these kind of characters that slowly go mad?
You know, I'm not sure they go mad, or at least inside. I don't think the guy goes mad. He's forced into a situation where he has to deal with himself, which, you know, some people would call madness, but some other people would call, you know, well overdue and a healthy thing and not easy. But I think, you know, I like characters that, you know, get their feet held to the fire, and because then you aren't trapped in kind of behavior and attitude. You know, it's for keeps. It's you aren't fooling around. You're putting yourself out there. And I like that. I don't like to suffer. I like comfort. I like happiness. I like peace. That's not it. I think the way to find real peace is to ask some questions and you know, shake yourself down. And these characters shake themselves down either by circumstance or by their own will. And those are the characters I like. I don't like comfort in a character because there's nothing to play. And I'm not talking about emotion. I'm talking about there's nothing to do. They're just attitude and they're pushing along a narrative. I want to be transformed by having an experience in the best circumstances. And you don't require that from everything, you know, but that's sort of what you're looking for. And sometimes you want to go away from that, but that's kind of the thing I keep on returning to.
Okay. That was 8.
Yes. Some wise words.
Oh yes, I'm glad that I just wanted to get the point of view from the actor himself. You know that most of the time, most of the movies that we watch, there's not just one single actor. I mean, there is the owner and Jasmine in this, but to be honest, Jasmine could be some they totally could have lifted that footage from some random hotel that had a similar door.
Yeah.
and it just be random B-roll that they found. So it's I just want to was just curious and wanted to make sure that we knew at least what William Dafoe thought about the character.
And were we getting a Mulholland Drive a bit, or was Jasmine the lady in the dress at that party too? She was
the lady in the dress at the party.
Okay.
With
I couldn't tell if like I didn't know if they pulled a Mulholland Drive where they got someone that looked similar, you know, and like he's like, oh, that's like why the root of his obsession with yeah. I didn't know if there was like because you know they had like her hair different and like different makeup too, so it was hard to tell.
I get you. I understand, but yeah, I think that there was the same lady, but I could be mistaken, but I could have sworn
because I could totally make sense if they just got someone who looked similar, because then that would be like, oh, that's kind of the root of his obsession with like the you know, this janitor lady. Is that she looks similar to someone that he fell in love with?
The hotel maid.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the interview snippet that I wanted to share with everybody. I hope everybody enjoyed it.
You better.
And we are going to move on to cover some of the art that was in this. There is an article on LA Times by an Emily Zimler. It's most films set in the art world actually don't have a curator, but in this Inside did and commissioned original contemporary artworks to boot. To create
That makes sense because I know like a lot of media that shows like art show and stuff is usually like very what's the word? Not pessimistic, but it's usually like kind of making fun of it. So it's usually just like a bunch of bullshit of like, oh yeah, it's just like a bunch of slaps on the wall, you know, like threw some paint on the wall. And it's like, yeah, that's the bullshit art that usually.
Yeah,
so.
that and
So it's cool that they actually got an actual artist.
Well, they got a series of artists, not just or
an actual art curator to actually find actual pieces of art instead of just like what people stereotypically think.
Every piece of artwork that we see is a legitimate piece of art that the curator was able to obtain within 4 months. Which
you said that they got the original pieces?
Yeah, original pieces from the original art. And this is a big deal because this usually doesn't happen, not only because just it gets made fun of, but it's also just usually original copies and lookalikes, because artists are very protective of their artwork. They don't really want to. Yeah. They don't want their sculptures and their pieces really destroyed and ruined in a way. But to be honest, this was truly a way, and most, we will go over it. I feel that most of the artists that contribute an art piece to this saw it as a way to make their piece of art into a piece of a living form of art. Like that, this film itself is a piece of art, and they're able to get their works inside of it as well, so their art can be transformative as well, because it you can see, we will go over some of it, some of the art you can see as being transformed and used in extremely clever ways throughout the movie.
Yes.
To create the collection, the director teamed up with the Italian art curator Leonardo Bigazzi. Some of the artworks appeared in Ben Hopkins' script for the film. He was the writer of the script, while others were commissioned or borrowed from artists and galleries. There was a very clear vision on the purpose of some of the works had to fulfill. Bugazzi explains, from the banal aspect of having a sculpture in a pointed metal that could be used to open the cylinder, to more complex elements of the narrative. The director adds he had an idea for the collection in mind, but needed an expert to make it legit. We've seen too many films that have to do with art, and most of the time the art is fake or lookalikes. I really wanted it in my film for everything to be very, very correct. Dozens of real-life work populate the penthouse, including pieces from Francisco.
Do you want me you want me to get these?
Do you know what you got you got it?
I got it. Yeah. We got Francisco Clemente,
I was about to say
Maurizio.
that. Francisco Clemente. I was about to say that.
I just saw a bunch of names and I was giving you an out. But if you want to do it, go ahead.
You got Maurizio Catalan.
And we're
That's not Catalan? That's not Catalan?
I mean, yeah, you're getting closer there. Yeah, like Catalan.
Alright, you got John Armlinder.
John Armleader.
Are you sure that that would be leader and not lender?
There's no N.
I'm saying lender.
Armleader.
Like not with. I'm saying the soft form of the. I'm not saying no N.
There's the. You see how there's only one D? That means that it makes. And also, it looks German, and Armleader just sounds German to me.
So we also have a Alvaro Urbano.
Alvaro Urbano, definitely Italian.
Then we have a Maxwell Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Got a David Horvitz. And we got a Joanna Poretska.
Piotrowska.
Yeah. Here, the director and the art curator explains 6 of the works. The first one is from Francisco Clemente, is the After and Before. Several pieces of the art appear exclusively inside. From one of them, the art curator approached the Italian painter about an original commission influenced by an existing work called Christina's World by Andrew Wyeth.
I think it's
Wyeth. Everyone knows that it's in the MoMA collection. So it would be impossible for our collector to have this artwork, the director says. For me, this art is about this figure that is alone in this field and feels vulnerable because Christina is incapable of moving. We asked Francisco to be inspired by this and make his own take. Christina's World is not a landscape with a woman. It's really like a psychological portrait of the impossibility reaching something that is unreachable, the art curator says. The role that this work had in the script was the idea of Willem looking at this painting and imagining the possibility to reach this woman as much as he's eager to reach the outside world. The Clemente style is a very recognizable watercolor style. It's a work that any art connoisseur or professional would recognize instantly. And we're going to save the best for last, and we're going to go to the more Maurizio Catalan. The Untitled from 1999. The print from Maurizio's work, also known as A Perfect Day, showcases installation of Melanin's Galleria Menzimio de Carlo, where the
Milan's Galleria Massimo di Carlo, yeah.
Yeah.
Close enough.
where the artist duct taped his gallerist to the fucking wall like a boss.
Oh yeah.
It marked the first time Catlin used duct tape. More recently, he had taped a banana to a wall at Art Basel, and his,
Oh yeah.
and his intention was to reverse the power dynamics in the gallery world. For me, this work was perfect because Nemo finds himself in a situation where he's there to steal and ends up in a prison, the art curator says. The idea of power structure and control is flipped. Later in the film, Nemo destroys the print, which was not scripted. I forgot to mention that 40% of this movie was not scripted. It's improvised.
Ooh.
It's just
Oh, yeah.
Willem being Willem. The pigeon, I was supposed to mention that the pigeon scene was improvised by Willem. That was 100%
Oh, yeah.
improvisation. Yes. To continue, because they are shooting chronologically, Willem had a lot of time on set to negotiate his relationship with the works. The art curator recalls, since the very beginning, we negotiated the fact that any damage to the works would happen had to be for the character's survivalism, either physical or psychological. I called Maurizio to ask him, and he was really excited. That happened many times on the film, the director adds. You had these artworks that were getting a new life inside the movie. Even if it wasn't meant to happen in the script, it was happening organically while we were shooting. Which I think that is really cool, because we're talking about the artwork that is about that's the dude duct taped to the wall. I find that really fucking cool that naturally they breathe a new form, an art form into that piece of art by basically making it a psychological torture device for a character in this. But that was
we actually got to see him interpret the art like you're supposed to interpret the art.
Oh yeah, and
he saw a man in trouble and he got him out of there.
You can also say that he, in a way, it transformed the art piece into a new type of, into a new art piece. It changed it, just for the simple, just that scene of William Dafoe going, "I'm gonna set you free, buddy," and then slamming it down like that is that can be interpreted as a piece of art, because there's such thing as motion sculptures, which Breda Benban Bebin
You just say Bebin.
was very familiar with making. She
Breda
made one
Beben.
called "I Can't Make You Love Me." The Siberian video artist, who died sadly in 2012, was the art directors, not the art curators, but the directors, the Velesvy's teacher and mentor during his MFA in screen arts in England, and the filmmaker wanted to pay tribute to her in his film. 2 of her works appear in Inside, a small inkjet print titled Art Vivo No. 8, and an 8-minute dual-screen video installation called I Can't Make You Love Me. It is that was the weird projection going on. That was the 2 couples going saying weird things about, to each other.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember being like, why is that TV like that?
It's actually an art sculpture. That's a piece of art.
Yeah.
That's not a TV at all. It is simple in the script. It is a form of entertainment for him, the director says of the video work. It is a small cinema. It's the only artwork that has dialogue and has some movement. On the TV, you cannot get any channels. Everything is destroyed except the screens. The work speaks about a couple who share the same cinematic space, the art curator explains. You understand that they're in the same room and sitting at the same table, but because they're on two different screens, it is as if they're never encountering each other. It's a love that cannot happen. There is a similar impossibility of connection between Willem's character and the woman on the CCTV. It is also becomes a discourse on meta cinema. Although the audience is in a same exchange with Nemo, they will never reach level of being there with him inside the house trapped.
Oh yeah, and going back to the duct tape piece too, because there's a brief mention of that banana one.
Yes.
The
yes.
one with the duct tape banana, which was famously like the dude getting arrested because he just pulls the banana off and eats it, which was actually the artist himself. It was actually part of his
it was
performance.
It was part of the art.
So yeah, there's definitely. I just wanted to touch on that because I was like also because his whole thing about like switching the power structure at the galleries,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are going on to the fourth bit of art by Joanna. Could say the last name.
Piotrowska.
Petrovska. Untitled.
Petrovska.
It is Untitled series from 2015 to 2017. Several years ago, the Polish artist asked friends around the world to build shelters in their homes with objects that they had lying around. The result was a series of images of makeshift shelters. The works mirrored what the director imagined Nemo eventually building in the penthouse. It is about the idea of building your own precarious refuge inside the domesticated environment with the illusion of this being something that protects you, but actually being extremely vulnerable, the art curator says. Joanna's photographs appear at the beginning when the house is still totally pristine and perfect, and then it's almost as if the shelter then materializes in space later on in the film. Nemo's towering shelter built on the set by production designer Thorsten Sable, who was created with furniture and some of the actual art. It looks like an art installation, the director said, which is very true. The tower, I thought that was a little art piece that he was called that they had like just film getting made and they had them climbing on, but now that's just the set designer just working his fucking magic.
Hell yeah.
But that is cool that they have the actual photographs that the Polish artist took inside it's part of the art collector's collection, and it's fucking cool as shit. That's cool. That's fucking cool. Hey, and we're going to move on to David Horvitz. All the time that will come after this moment. This is the second coolest art piece that I think, because there was a cool production moment that actually happened. It is the neon light sculpture created by Los Angeles-based artist David Horvitz that hangs in a prominent location in the collector's apartment. For the first half of the film, the sculptor's 9 words were prominently illuminated. That was all the time that will come after this moment. Later, after water falls down, the walls, only 3 remain after this moment. The magic of cinema is when the water came in. Half of the sentence turned off. That was not intentional. It happened on set. that was just a magic moment that happened chronologically while they were filming, and they stuck with it. This really becomes a perfect statement of the generative possibilities of when you put art in a different context, the curator adds. In the film, it's really after the moment that everything is different because there's water on the floor. The fact that it happened by chance shows the certain things, when activated in a certain way, gain their own life. And I saved the best for last. I got a speculation of what your rating is, but after I share this art piece, after I share this little bit of trivia, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be disappointed. This is gonna be some bullshit. You're gonna get all the videos thrown on you. So this was done by a Petrit Halali.
I think it's a Petrit Halalaj. Halalaj. It's hard to say.
Yes. It is titled,
Hello.
Do You Realize There Is a Rainbow Even If It's Night? It is dubbed The Moth by the filmmakers. Do you realize there is a rainbow even if it's night is a continuation of the Scovens artist series from the 2017's Vince Benenal.
Sorry, Kosovan?
Kosovan, yes. The art curator commissioned the piece specifically for Inside to be installed on the penthouse wall, and while Defoe was touring the on-set art with the director, he decided to don it as a costume. He said, "I'm going to be freezing cold. Why am I not wearing this?" The art curator remembers. And it became one of the most iconic images of the film, where he is wearing this moth, becoming almost like a shaman. They gave us a fucking moth shaman, dude. They gave us a moth shaman.
I kind of wish he wore it for a little longer, though.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But he's wearing it like at the very end when he's about to escape.
Yeah. Yeah. He's prepping. Okay.
And that's all the art pieces this article goes over. That's it. That piece right there, I was like, oh, that solidifies my rating. A fucking moth shaman, dude. They gave us a fucking moth shaman. Willem Dafoe as a moth shaman.
Okay.
Yes, that is the artworks, and now we are going to get into our theories. I actually have. I didn't actually plan for this, but I figured I would stop since it would make you happy. I was able to glean 4 different theories of what's happening in this movie.
Huh.
Yes. Was you able to get... Do you have any personal theories or anything before we get into...
No, I kind of just took it as is.
Oh, really?
Meh.
Oh shit. My first theory, it's my least favorite theory, but I got it from all the threes, all the number threes going on. The Holy Trinity as well, and the fact that he is trying to go for a skylight or a light in general. This could be you can interpret this as the director trying to say, or I guess it would be the director and the writer are both trying to say that God is the ultimate art, and that is what you should be chasing. That is one theory. Theory number 2, it kind of correlates with my own personal theory, but the theory is that this is a interpretation of art is a prison, and the only way that you can escape said prison of art itself is to destroy said art. And after you destroy your art, it will set you free.
Oh yeah, sorry, trying to get into a better spot here.
Alright. And this theory I don't really have much to go on besides he creates what we could consider a hill or a mountain at the end, and the fact that the apartment is original. It starts out getting extremely hot. This is my third theory, if I didn't make that clear. The apartment starts off getting extremely hot and then gets extremely cold, and he starts chanting that that quote, "I'm going to heaven on the hillside." You can say this is a very, very loose interpretation of the Divine Comedy from Dante. Yes, because the original movie is the initial, journey through hell. It starts off scorching hot, and then it gets colder as you descend down.
Yeah.
To it,
because Satan's like in the middle, right? And it's like he's like all frozen.
Yeah, and you got to climb up his genitals to escape. And then after not many people know this, that's just the first third of the Divine Comedy. The second half of the trip is going up a hill where you basically repent for your sins, and there's and you can see that the hill that he scurries up, at the end of the scaffolding that he created, you can see that as the purgatory hill, and then he goes off into paradise.
Oh yeah,
that is. But
so, do you think that can play into a theory that he actually died, or this is a process of his death?
Yeah, this is basically his afterlife that we're seeing. This is his personal hell that he has to.
That makes sense, because that makes sense with the pigeon showing that, because I feel like the pigeon is definitely an analogy of him, and so they show the pigeon dead, but he escapes, so I could definitely see his escape being death too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That is my third theory, but my fourth theory, is my favorite theory. And it goes on basically that his name is Nemo. Okay? What is Nemo Latin for? What is Nemo Latin for? Nemo is Latin for
fuck.
Nobody. My theory is that he is the art collector, which in universe, he's not just an art collector, but this is an artist, and this is his collection of his personal artworks that he's kept. And now,
because we get that weird flashback at him in the gallery too, but it seems like people know him.
Yeah, so, and I feel that this is just a creative process that he's been staring at these pieces of art for so long that he's finally snapped, and he was like, okay, I have to seal myself into my art, and I have to transform it in a way. I have to go through a process. And this is just the artist going through a weird process to transform the art that he's got into new and more unique type of art. And that he's legitimately had to fucking escape because he fucked up.
Yes. Which was your first theory too. During the movie, I remember you shared that.
Yeah, that was
like almost near the start.
Oh yeah, the Nemo is what really, because Nemo does stand for nobody in Latin. That really what.
Whenever I think of Nemo, I think I like Captain Nemo.
True, but that Captain Nobody. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is my theories. But you just took it as is, that this is some art dude that got trapped.
I mean, I definitely can see the theories a little bit better now. I guess I didn't really. I don't know. For some reason, I didn't really like dwell on it. I didn't. It's probably because of how I watched it, because there was a blaring band under me.
Yeah.
So it was hard to get like fully into the atmosphere. So
Gotcha.
because I was checking the timing a little bit, but I saw it for the great movie for what it was, but I don't think I had like the 100% experience. So which is why we'll definitely watch this in the future again.
Oh yeah, we have to, definitely have to.
But you know what? I think you convinced me. I think you were successful into that, because to change my reading.
Oh shit, we're getting into final thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Going into final thoughts. I will start. I'll start first. If it isn't obvious, fucking 5 out of 5. I really hope we can give this a god tier. It's the actor that we have is amazing. The director, the writer, the art curator, all of it's perfect. Just the cinematography, the way that they were able to. This is an art. This is art. This just, and it's a that I don't know, and the fact that there's a message here. They're evidently trying to say something, but it's not quite clear. You just don't know exactly what they're trying to say with this movie. And the fact that at least I could get multiple theories just from the single watch of it. It's like, oh shit, that there's so much you can interpret from this. And the fact that this is what I wanted from the Lighthouse, it's just, it's perfection. I should have gave a spoiler warning at the beginning, because you have to go watch this. Don't watch the trailer. Do not watch the trailer. It's kind of too late for spoilers or anything, but if you got a bad memory and you just like, okay, time to go watch it, do not watch the trailer. Makes it seem like it's going to be more of a horror film than it is. This is more psychological art house. Do not go into this thinking that it is the horror movie that they try to make it out to be.
Yeah, if you want a horror movie, to go watch Lighthouse.
Or go watch the next movie that we're going to do, The House That Jack Built, which the reason why that we're watching that one is my third. The fact that this could be a loose interpretation of Dante's Divine Comedy. That's why we're watching that one next. So you are aware.
I feel like at this point we need to actually put what's that? I would always see it on IFC all the time, but I never watched it all the way through. But it looked interesting. But it's done with paper puppets. But it's just literally like it's sort of a comedy of the Divine Comedy of Dante's Inferno.
We might have to. We might have to do that. But yeah, 5 out of 5.
Mhm.
It's all on you.
Mhm.
Can we give this a God tier? Have I convinced you?
Well, before we get to that, since you had to put me back on the defense again, I think this film is very separate from The Lighthouse. I don't think it really it definitely doesn't coincide with my ratings on either. But
I just
I think
want
they
to.
both achieve different goals.
True. I just
And both of them can be interpreted in many different ways.
True. I just want to say, when it comes to being an adaptation of what The Lighthouse, Edgar Allan Poe is, this is more closely faithful to that than the actual Lighthouse is. That's all I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Sure,
what I
I
was
guess you
trying.
could
That's what I was trying to convey, was that if I'm getting the Lighthouse, I want Edgar Allan Poe's Lighthouse, and this is much more akin to what
I didn't
you
see
would
no
get.
dog.
I
I didn't see no dog.
The pigeon. You're in Manhattan. You're not gonna get many strays running around in a high rise, so they substituted the dog for the pigeon.
Sure. Bit of a stretch, but sure. Fine.
Oh, and there is a dog.
Anyway.
There is a dog in the painting that he writes daddy, and he makes the dog an angel, and then we see that girl and the dog in the snow later on.
Yep, we
There's
do.
a dog.
We do. There's a fucking dog. Well, fine. There you go. There's a dog in the lighthouse too, in an abstract way. But anyway, anyway, I'll give it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, boy.
I was initially gonna give it a 4.5 because I did really enjoy it, and I just don't think I was in the right setup for it. You know, there's a lot of distractions. Had a band practice going on during it. Doesn't really. I could pretty much had my own soundtrack for the film. But so I didn't get fully. I don't think I achieved in getting like fully immersed, you know. But like the only real issue I had was kind of like the length. But I think I won't even use that as like anything against the film, because I feel like that was kind of necessary, especially for what this film is, to kind of like feel the to kind of get lost in time of like how long this guy's been here, for you to be like, you know, kind of disoriented with him.
Oh yeah, for sure. I strongly agree with that.
Mm-hmm. And I think it was really. I mean, of course, there's your final point, which is a good point with the moth shaman. But I think the overall all the production stuff kind of led me to bringing it to a 5, just because of the. I'm a sucker for good improv, of course.
Oh, and a good chunk of this is improv.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like how very little dialogue there is, especially like, and how kind of like spread out it is, because like, other than maybe for like the first, when he's like talking on the radio, you get like a good while till he really like says anything, and kind of like he kind of progressively starts talking to himself a little bit more as the isolation sets in.
Yeah. And it gets so to the point where he's not even like holding whole conversations anymore. He's just repeating the same phrase over and over and over again.
Yeah, it becomes more primitive.
Hey, he had
to yeah.
Gotta channel the moth shaman, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Am I playing the god tier? Can we make this a god tier? Are you comfortable with?
You can play the god. Yeah, we're god tier.
Then a god am. that over the top? I can never tell.
Oh, yeah, boy. Now I'm scared to give if we have to give this a full episode because I don't think it's gonna keep it.
Mm-hmm.
But oh man, I'm glad we watched this. I really needed this, man.
But I will state the fact that this is very different type of even like emotions that we're even looking at through here with when we're comparing it to like something like Lighthouse, which has a little bit more to do with I think guilt than honestly than isolation.
Yeah, that is the Lighthouse that we got. But Edgar Allan Poe's Lighthouse definitely would have been more about isolation because it's just one dude and his dog in the light.
But also
no
for Lighthouse is the fact that it was a bunch of different scripts that were just passed over and passed over. For what I got and what I enjoyed, like you don't get that from like like production hell. I think it was a miracle.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But I'm not saying that this is a better movie than Lighthouse, even though I do not like Lighthouse myself. I'm just saying, again, repeating, if you want an adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's The Lighthouse, then this is what you want to go for. This is more the wheelhouse than the Lovecraftian horror that The Lighthouse is with William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. It's
yes,
but yeah, that's I think we did it. I think we done did it. This is the part where I get into the outro. If you've been listening to us rambling this long, thank you so much. Please leave a like, comment what you think about this movie, comment your theory if you have a personal theory about the movie down below. Share the video around. This definitely needs to be this. Oh, before we go, this actually got shafted in the fucking box office, but I don't think making money or that was the point in this. They just wanted to make this movie, but it only got $918,415 in the box office. So it got shafted.
Damn.
But yeah, share this video around and share the movie around. Definitely, it deserves the recognition. It is a wonderful movie to be in one setting with one individual for almost 2 hours and it be so perfect in every way. It's just it's amazing. But yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This is where I go, hey, do anybody that's calling you Spooge have a sign off? Because I do.
I think I forgot it, but let me check inside my asshole. There you go. My phone's about to die and I can't find my charger.
Alright. And mine is, this is just my way to contribute, you know? Cheers to all of you. Cheers, big ears. If you didn't like the joke, I'm sorry, but fuck you. I did the best I could, and if you didn't like that, fuck you. This will be a bye-bye, folks.
Bye-bye. Oh no, at 1%. I don't know where my charger is.
Oh no.
I think I left it. I think I left it in their room, and I think she's getting dressed.
Oh.
I guess I'm
Bye-bye.
gonna have to hang up. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Nobody here but us pigeons. Right? 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 Right?